Hello there, and welcome to this morning's devotion. This morning's passage comes from Psalm 119, verse 22, which states, "Remove from me reproach and contempt, for I have kept thy testimonies." It is believed by many that King David wrote Psalm 119. I read somewhere that he more than likely did not write all of Psalm 119 at the same time, but rather wrote individual verses or sayings or exclamations at different times in his life. And then at some point, everything was put together and made into what we now know today as the 119th Psalm. King David was one of the greatest kings that Israel ever had, perhaps even the greatest of them all. And yet David still felt the reproach and contempt of others in his life. For the most part, David was a righteous man. At least that is how we remember him today. Sure, of course, he sinned against God on multiple occasions, but David always made sure to get right. He always made sure to repent of his sins and turn back to God. And although the sword never left his house, God did restore his reputation so that he would always be remembered as the sweet psalmist of Israel. And yet there were still those who brought upon David reproach and contempt. All through his life, he had adversaries that wished to see him fall. There were those throughout his life that disapproved of him or thought that he was worthless. Remember, for instance, when he went down to see his brothers when Goliath was challenging the armies of Israel. And Eliab, David's oldest brother, expressed his disapproval of David being there. Remember also King Saul, who on many occasions tried to kill David and reviled him time and time again. And so we see in this psalm where David asks God to remove from him reproach and contempt. You see, even though there were individuals who looked down upon him, King David understood that God is able to work in and through people to accomplish his own divine purposes. And so David asks the Lord to intervene on his behalf. And that is the benefit that all of us as Christians have, that God is our Father. And we have the privilege to go to him and to ask him to bring healing into our lives. We can ask God to restore that which was taken away from us due perhaps to our own failings or maybe even possibly the meanness of other people. All of us hurt from time to time. All of us experience pain brought about by those who are our enemies. But God is always at work to accomplish his plan in our lives as well as the lives of those that do not know him. And so we ought to learn to be patient in tribulation, in distress, and in hard times, because our God will come through for us. He will win. And so let us always endeavor to always follow our God wherever he leads, even when the way grows dark. Thank you for joining this morning, and I pray that you have a blessed day.